Well, welcome to our combo edition of May and June in the landscape. In May, there's still many vegetables that you can plant. Beets, cucumbers, eggplants though from transplant, okra, peppers, and squash. All of those can be done from seed. This time in the season is just perfect for them. Put those squash in a little mound and they'll grow for you. And then you're going to want to plant from tubers your caladium bulbs. Make sure they're going to have little pink points sticking out. Pop those off and they'll make more leaves. Thus you'll have more plants because caladiums are just leaves. When they start to bloom, they'll look like a little spath. Be sure and pick those off because we want to make leaves, not blooms. And then also you can plant those warm season annuals. In May, you're going to watch for every kind of pest because this is their time. When it starts to heat up, so do those insects. We may have killed a lot during the winter, but we're going to watch for bagworms on our conifers, fungus on our roses. You'll also see mildew on your crepe myrtles, white flies on your gardenias and ligustrum, aphids on the new growth of everything. They're going to be a little deforming. Just wash them off with water. They can help. That can help most. Caterpillars on your Boston ivy. You're just going to see the holes, not the insects, because they're nocturnal. They're out at night. And also, there's many things that we have to do to the landscape in May so that we've got a great landscape the rest of the year. We're going to want to aerate the lawns that have been compacted. Mulch everything for the bad weather. Remember, it's going to moderate soil temperature, keep it wet, and keep the weeds down. Mow once a week religiously, but don't bag it because we have a don't bag it program. Remember, by not bagging, you get one free fertilization per year. Prune your spring blooming shrubs after that they bloom. That includes your roses, the climbers. We'll prune those after they bloom. In addition, don't lift your daffodils until all the leaves on them have yellowed. You can cut those leaves off after they've yellowed because the nutrients have returned to the bulb, thus making flowers for next season. In addition, we're going to make sure to pinch the top out of our chrysanthemums, and then we're going to do that every 2 to 3 weeks or once a month for the next 3 or 4 months. Welcome to our June edition of Let's Get Growing, and we want to continue to mow once a week. And remember, don't bag it and don't remove more than 1/3 of that total leaf blade at a time. So we're going to have many things we can plant this month. Let's start out with this list of things you see on the screen that you can plant from seed. You can plant all of these from pots. While they're in bloom, dig your spider lily bulbs and separate those. You can also plant new ones. And remember, share with your neighbors because we want to reduce the numbers so that we can get more flowers from the ones that we have. We're going to water deeply. We're going to soak, not sprinkle. And remember, there's no way that you can water an area for 30 minutes by hand and be really productive. You're going to need to put a sprinkler out and make sure that you're watering for at least 30 minutes in each area unless you see puddling, and move to your next area. The main thing is to water deeply so that you're forcing the roots deep. And then remember, we're going to mulch all those newly planted areas, any bare spots, and then make sure that you're keeping the annuals mulched because once again that's going to help you retain the moisture and reduce that soil temperature. But most of all, let's keep those weeds down because they're in competition for water and nutrients from our desirable plants. Now there's some pruning that can be done in June, but we want to be careful so that we're not exposing a lot of bark or a lot of the interior foliage of the shrubs so that they scald. And then you want to prune the dead or diseased wood out. Perennials, as soon as they have finished blooming, we'll prune those. And then the petunias, you'll want to deadhead those. You can see these dead flowers. We'll remove those and the little stolon. And then the faded flowers on any plant before they start to turn to seed. There's no need to pick at your moss rose. They'll do them by themselves. But if you have nothing else better to do, it will help them bloom more. And then your Salvia gregori, or your salvias, and the Salvia farinacea, those have to be sheared and then they'll rebloom. You can just take your head shears, shear them off, take off about 1/3, and they'll come right out for you. We'll do that again in August. We'll be doing our second major fertilization of our lawns in June. And remember, our most important one will be the one in August, because that is where we're storing nutrients for our winter months. But now our second major fertilization of all areas. And then fertilize your mums, and remember to pinch them again in June. And then we'll fertilize our roses every 4 to 6 weeks. Now there's a lot we're going to watch for in the landscape this month, and that's going to be powdery mildew on our crepe myrtles. Just a little insecticidal soap will get rid of that. In addition, chinch bugs on your St. Augustine, red spiders on everything, and they'll be on the underside of the foliage. So make sure that we're looking underneath for those little insects. They're tiny, tiny. You'll see the webbing and the little yellowing of the leaves. You'll see the damage, but not the insect, more than likely. And you can just wash them off with a strong spray of water and they'll fall prey to their predators. And then black spot on our roses, and last but not least, our second generation of all the insects. But if you have been diligent in the landscape, they should be minuscule at this time. That's our May and June edition of Let's Get Growing. Want you to grow on. Make Grand Prairie better, one beautiful spot at a time.